Don't worry. It might be a quick one, you know? It might be. All right, everybody, huddle up. Hey, huddle up. It's
bring
Tuesday.
It in.
Is it Tuesday? What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets Podcast. Live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR.
Beep, beep, son.
I can't wait till I get to reveal our Toyota thing.
Dang, dude.
I can't wait. It's going to be so exciting. Today's show, going to be a good one. We have some superlatives for you about the Denver Nuggets, about the Western Conference. These guys don't even know the questions. I'm going to throw them on the spot. Hot take questions they're going to have to give me about the future.
Usually between Eric and I, we're the bastions of preparedness. But
I know. I've been studying all night.
We also have some big news out of New York City you're not going to want to miss.
What?
Up first, Brendan Vogt's here.
What's going on, everyone?
New shirt?
It is a new shirt.
Looks good, man.
Brand new shirt. Thanks, buddy. I saw your tweet, The Good Witch, Ariana. Shout out for that album, man.
Man, I'm glad
dropped.
you did this.
It's really, really gorgeous. It's really gorgeous. You said it fits the weather today. It's a
Did I
great.
lie?
It's a no. You got it right. After this show is over, if you want to go for a walk in Denver, throw that thing on.
It really is
Shout
good.
out Bandcamp.
Bandwave.
Bandwave.
Yeah, Bandwave.
Bandcamp.
It's actually really, really good indie music. You'll like it. She worked really hard on that. We were talking about it when she was out here doing the tarot readings. She worked really hard on it. And it's
great.
Super talented. Unsurprising, too, though. You know what?
She absolutely has the vibe of someone that could put that album together.
Of course. Like, you have some friends that are like, I'm in a band. You want to hear your music? Like, I just don't have time right now. I just know it's going to suck.
Yeah.
With her, you're like, I'll bet you it's awesome.
Unsurprisingly, great.
Yeah. The friend I was talking about, D-Line's here.
That's right. I've already actually talked to her about it. To her directly. She and I had a conversation about it.
Oh wow!
I told her it was
also me too. Me too as well, actually. But yeah, cool story.
Me too.
Cool story.
Good, interesting choice of.
She's
words.
our friend, but yes, awesome.
I told her it was.
She's a little closer to me.
I told her there was notes of Stereolab and Amy Mann, maybe a little Sia. She agreed.
There you go. We have to get to our top news though. The New York Knicks have fired Tom Thibodeau.
What?
I don't know if you guys have followed the Knicks, too closely over the years, but they usually suck.
Yeah.
And this year they were kind of good.
Right.
Kind of good. They made it all the way to the conference finals. It is so funny, though, and we know this story well, right? Nuggets have also been good. They fired their coach. And there is a thing where no matter how high your expectations, they always could be higher. And the Knicks end up making it there, and they fired Tibbs. I don't even know if it was the wrong move, though. That's what's so funny about it.
Maybe Tibbs' real role as a head coach in this ecosystem is to get you to a place where you realize you're close enough, but something must change. And it's him.
It's like that Morgan Wallen song, 98 Braves.
Yeah, dude, it's just like that.
Just like that. It's so close, Wasn't meant to be.
One of the funniest songs ever.
It is a hilarious song. I think you're right, though. I think Tibbs is really good if you want to make the conference finals.
It is crazy.
But also the Knicks weren't good enough to go past that. I'm sorry.
This is the thing, man. Like, coaches are just made to be fired.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it really doesn't matter what you do. Like, it really, for me, shines a light on the fact that it's like the coach is important, but also not that important. Like, you can easily just be like, well, it was that guy's fault. Get him out of here. With the Malone thing, especially after this season, you're just like, what is the... I know it's important, but is it important?
Dude, I have a shirt. I have a flannel from back when I was in high school. Uh-huh. It's still my favorite one, but it's like got this hole around the collar. You know what I mean? But it still fits me better than any shirt ever could. Uh-huh. And it also looks phenomenal. Only if you're close can you see it. That's like a coach, like even if it's perfect, it's still like, over time it wears out.
Yeah, because especially the fact that you could become bad at your job if teenagers don't want to listen to you.
Which, by the way, is the inherent dynamic. So every time a coach is fired, you get stories of, like, the players were getting tired of it. Yeah. I mean, some people are tired of their coach on day one. You're not necessarily supposed to love spending time with them so much as you are supposed to rally around the concept of team. But as we discussed with Malone, and this is probably part of our kind of shock and realization is we were so used to this almost unprecedented stability, right, for a long time here in Denver. But to Eric's original point, coaches get fired.
They just get fired, man.
They get fired. You want to be the coach of the year? No, you don't.
No, you do not.
No, you do not.
It is crazy, but it's funny too because coaches get fired all the time, and the way that this team was structured over the last however many years was Calvin Booth was operating like he was going to be here for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
Mike Malone was operating like he was going to be here for 10 years.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden,
I don't
it's
know
like,
if that word.
Well, whatever. He was focused. I
think Malone was acting like he was going to get fired at the end of the year to do it.
Maybe.
I think he was like,
"I don't watch any film, man. I don't watch any film."
Maybe
he's like, "We're all going down."
Maybe he was reading the very bright, loud writing on the wall. But my point is that it's the weirdest thing because you just have this, like, we the fans, me the fan. We're always here, right? Like
it's so true,
our storyline continues, even if a GM or a coach comes in and just messes everything up. They're like, man, glad I got out of there. We're just stuck. Like, oh, God damn it. Like now we got to deal with these decisions that were made.
But this is what's weird. You just raised actually a really interesting topic. I wasn't even thinking about talking about
here.
But
we're writing the show as we go.
I have a good buddy who's a Milwaukee Bucks fan. And, I think he's resigned to the idea that Giannis probably should leave because they're not going anywhere. There's nothing you can do. And it's kind of like, but his whole thing is the Bucks don't owe him anything. No. They're like, they should send him to New York. They should send him to here. And he's like, the Bucks owe it to the fans. There's all these fans. And it's like this idea. And like, it's not that we don't deeply appreciate Giannis. It's just that this idea that we should hurt hundreds of thousands of people.
This makes me crazy. I hate this thought. Not the one you're having. You
like the thought I'm having.
I love the thought you're having because we have to, as a general public, a sports consumer public, it is our jobs to make sure that this 1.1% of people have not a 1 million times better life than you have, but a 20 billion times better life. Like, we will fight on behalf of their salaries. We will make sure that like everything is like good and warm and comfy for them. And
when they get fined or something, we're like, what?
Jokic is like, what are we doing? We're like, I don't know. We're giving him $400 million. It is a crazy thing that everything is at odds. That's kind of what makes sports fun, is because it's just a constant push and pull, and you don't quite know where it's gonna land. But it is hilarious how many times people root against their own interests in favor of somebody who has a way better life than you can ever imagine,
and is actually just doing fine. And that's the whole thing. It almost messes with the ecosystem in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like there's like this ecosystem, and you mess when you start to be like, you know what? We're not important. The hundreds of thousands of us,
and that dynamic has changed. Is so compounded by the increased money in this sport,
of course,
right? So you increasingly have this bizarre dynamic that Eric's articulating here of sort of you want the best for your players and your coaches and everything. They're also actually now part of the 1%, and it just becomes this weirder thing. I do think, getting back to the coaching thought, that is the ultimate framing for me on Malone. I think in a perfect world, Malone deserved a little better. But that's a separate thought from what the organization needed to do.
Totally.
And then ultimately, as you guys are explaining, maybe what the fans deserve. So it's a good way of looking at it.
Well, if the Knicks are looking out for their own self-interest, I couldn't help but think that there was one Michael Malone who was a true Denver Nugget, so much so that he got a tattoo on his arm. He painted his body with it, but his soul, dare I say, was painted with New York Knicks, the blood of Madison Square Garden. Because that man was never happier than when he was reliving old glories of playing on the Madison Square Garden court ahead of a game that his father was coaching, or going to the collegiate tournaments and being there. That man loves New York, loves the Knicks, and loves the Garden. And I have no idea if he'd be good or bad there. But he might be the first coach in history that's like actively applying for jobs, not just like, hey, put my name in. He might have literally sent in a resume
and a cover letter with everything you just said. Yeah.
Use ChatGPT and everything.
Dude, when I was a boy,
we saw this coming from a million miles away. We were talking about the second Michael Malone got let go. It was like, Knicks are going to flame out. Like, I know it is crazy that Tom Thibodeau got fired after making they're getting the Knicks as far as they've ever been.
Yeah.
In a long time.
In a long time. Not
well,
ever.
that's I mean.
Yeah.
Under his leadership, that they got the furthest, which means that it's time to get the hell out of here. But I mean, like, come on, everyone knows Michael Malone's going there, right?
I don't think he is.
You don't?
They have already. I mean, again, these sites, and I'm not trying to promote any of these sites because they're very nefarious.
Trey Murphy the third is going to be the coach of the
but
New York
maybe a
Knicks?
similar one that has this nefarious background might have not listed him anywhere in the top 10.
Well, if you look around the league right now, the trend is either internal,
or
younger assistants from around the league right now. I think.
The Knicks are a little different with Leon Rose at the helm and stuff. Like they're a little bit more mafia.
Exactly. And there's also just, if nothing else, it would be one of the vibiest coaching hires of all time.
Bro,
he's such a Knicks coach.
I
actually would too. This is kind of what I was getting at. Is I don't want like Tim Conley. We love. He goes to Minnesota, and it sucks. We still love the guy, but it does suck. That it's like, totally man, we have to hate this man and whatever. You go to New York City, and that's where you want to go? Well, have nothing to do with the Knicks.
Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference, I would be so into it. I'd be rooting so hard for him.
Enjoy it, man. Come on.
Until, as Manny says, he calls Cat the best big man in the
game. There's
no
way he would say that.
He actually
if there's one thing I would tell you is that Michael Malone would hate Cat. He would.
You're right, actually.
Absolutely,
you are right.
Unequivocally hate that man.
Yeah, dude, I don't feel like that's another guy.
Carmelo Anthony, Michael Malone, the Nuggets to Knicks pipeline.
If we need to figure out, we need to do a. I know we had stocks on the. We need to do just in general, like whose stock has actually fallen by getting too much exposure. Karl Anthony Towns had a great playoffs.
He really had a great year. Good year.
Had a great year, and now everyone hates him.
I know.
Like he's a joke. He's a punchline. There are a bunch of guys that like got too close to the sun, and now have been exposed, and people are like out on them. Like New York should be so in on Karl Anthony Towns, but he's like too, as they say, zesty for them.
This is the thing about it's more to me than anything. It's just that he's not cool, and there's such a thing of cool and whatever, and it sucks, but it is a fact of life. I mean. That's why we love to see it in Almost Famous. Like, I met you. You are uncool. Like, yes. There's a thing. Like, Karl Anthony Towns is not cool. And there's nothing he can do. Win a series for you. Doesn't matter. You're just not that cool,
It's so funny, too, because I think from the Denver perspective, I'm not going to speak for everyone, of course. Not my place to. I think a lot of us have actually gained respect for Towns, maybe.
Totally.
Relative to the average leave perspective on Cat, which is everything you're saying, right? And everything you're saying. But I always watch that guy go, am I on crazy pills? I think he's good.
He's totally
but he has a tragic flaw. This is the other part of it.
His defense and his fouling, which is just inexplicable. He cannot stop himself.
And he's not quite good enough offensively. Like when he's in his bag offensively, he's great, but he doesn't see the court well. He is a guy that can be really, really frustrating because he can be awesome and then he can be terrible.
I agree. I don't think he's a 1A or anything like that. But I'm saying is, I've seen Cat kind of step up in enough moments over the years in tough matchups and be like, man, that guy is not everything they say he is. But you talk to everyone else, and he's just sort of a guy that's easy to laugh at because he's not very cool.
Yeah. Anyway, Michael Malone, the real top headline here is that, I didn't know fully how I would feel about Michael Malone. And I was looking at the West, just looking at there's no openings. And I don't really see one on the horizon. I mean, there always will be something that pops up, maybe New Orleans or something like that. I don't know. But I don't think he would go to New Orleans, first of all.
I think it's this one or he's TV for a bit.
I think you might be right. I think he could probably hope to wait it out a little bit. But either way, I was looking at it and I was like, it's going to be the East. And no matter what, I think I would root pretty heavily for him. What if he went to Boston? I guess he's not going to Boston.
Dude, everyone's allowed to have a side piece team, especially in the other conference.
Although should Boston consider firing Joe Mazzulla? It's an interesting conversation.
I would love for Joe Mazzulla. By the way, a year ago, he was what Dagnott is right now.
I know.
It would be pretty incredible if he fell and we're like, is he a one-trick pony?
I mean, it's kind of interesting.
Oh, shoot a bunch of threes and space the court? Yeah, that's cool.
They also lost in the second round. I'm just throwing it out there.
Throw it out there, man.
I do love this also where there's only a few teams left on TV, so any failure is ultimate crushing failure. This team sucks. Yeah. You're like, dude, 30 other teams are lost lost their last game 2 months ago. and they were terrible. Like now it just is like ultimate failure.
This is why the Nuggets season is so fascinating.
It's so fascinating
because you honestly look around and say which teams actually should feel like they were close to it, and there really aren't any.
No,
except for one. The Nuggets were kind of close.
I feel like
everybody else had a pretty sad exit at the very end in some capacity.
I feel like,
we know.
Pending the outcome of this finals, like we all feel like we know what's going to happen. You never do. That's what sports is all about. But I feel like if things go the way that that I expect them to go, I think it's hard to say that the Nuggets are not the second best team in the NBA.
I mean, sure. I just maybe.
I know.
They certainly performed, at that level or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. Let's take a break. On the other side, we want to get into some superlatives, including who do we pick to be the most improved Denver Nugget next season? Who maybe he'll be the most unimproved? Yeah, Jokic. We'll get to that on the other side.
When you think about body odor,
often,
all the time, just think about the language there. It's not armpit odor; it's body odor.
Bro.
So if you put one strip of deodorant, one stripe of deodorant under your armpits, have you really solved your body odor? I'm going to guess no. You know who else is guessing that? Mando. Mando is a men's deodorant brand that's hyper-focused on keeping every aspect, Eric, of a man's body smelling fresh and clean. What am I doing implying stuff? Let's just say it. Pits, belly buttons, balls, butt cracks, grundles, munders, and more. Mando overtly calls out those colorful parts of men's bodies. Guys, we probably smell worse than we think. Bro, so just think a little bit more about it.
I'm almost always aware of how I smell.
Well, listen, like it's the summertime, and I think people,
of course,
no better time if you're going to be going to Mando.
Nice.
Dude, with some bird dogs?
Some Mando?
Some bird dogs and Mando.
As someone who has virtually no sense of smell, it's never a safe bet unless I'm head to toe in Mando.
You got to double down.
I really do. Sure. I need Mando for sure. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. There's a special offer for our listeners. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. Use code DNVR at shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO, shopmando.com. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe. With what?
Mando.
And just
guys.
So you're clear, it's spelled Grundle. Grundle.
That's a Grundle.
Grundle. Yeah, that's how you spell Grundle. That's correct. Thank you, Eric. Whether you're on the road or at home, in the playoffs, it doesn't really seem to matter for anyone but the Thunder. Or somewhere else between. First Bank makes banking easy, convenient, and secure. Of course, that last word is very important when talking about your money. Their mobile banking app allows you to check balances, pay friends, and manage your money anytime, anywhere. And right now, right this very moment, you can open a First Bank checking account. You could earn $300. They're all about helping you stay on track at First Bank. Their tools make it simple to stay in control of your finances without that hassle, no matter where life takes you. First Bank gives you the freedom to bank how and when it works best for you. So if you're ready for better banking and a chance to earn a little extra, head to efirstbank.com/bonus. That is efirstbank.com/bonus to open your account. Bank how you want, when you want with First Bank. Certain restrictions and requirements apply. Member FDIC.
Alrighty, we are back here. Segment 2. DNVR, I almost said all NBA, man. I'm losing myself in the offseason.
Bro.
Listen, man, we already know you prefer that show. If you could just kind of keep that compartmentalized.
So fun,
it's a great show. You guys do great work.
Yeah. You're not having to carry the whole thing.
Legs is prepared. I get it. But this is fun too.
I'm sorry. Is there something I'm supposed to be reading?
Legs, I was telling D-Line this, very into true crime.
That actually checks out.
That's what I said. I was like, this is actually not surprising.
I don't know how that checks out, but I'm willing to go along with it.
You know what's really fun for me, really quick, just to do some little all-city praise? I think right now, the online kind of wave for color commentary is give me Tim Legler or give me death. Yeah. And I love that. It's just, I know, Tim, you've never met me, but you're our guy.
He is our guy.
You're our guy.
Tim, you have met me, and you
probably forgot. His name's Eric.
Quite certain.
Kind of important around the company, but...
let's do some superlatives here as we preview the offseason. This really is more about us than it is about,
it's
really more.
It's the offseason, baby.
Now we're talking.
Which current Nuggets player, you can play along in the chat, is most likely to make the biggest improvement this offseason? I like this one.
Who goes first?
Captain Optimist.
Which one is that?
That's you. About the Nuggets, not life in general, the Nuggets.
I was going to say, again, I need to remind everyone, I'm not optimistic in life or even about the Nuggets. I just like Nikola Jokic. Anyway, I kind of think it is Julian Strawther.
See, I like this answer. I mean, I disagree, but I do like it because it is entirely possible.
Oh, yeah, Junk Philosophy agrees with me. Julian Strawther. It's just that he's got so much to grow.
Yeah.
You know, like like Christian Brown was definitely the most improved last year. He improved quite a bit. Having that kind of leap, possible.
If you were in politics, you would go viral every day.
Would I?
Because you do this one a lot.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
just like, it is a lot of.
Well, I just think it's like, I just feel confident about this.
Trajectory. Julian Strawther's trajectory.
Can you zoom out
as much as
like,
you
don't
can.
get a close up on Eric when he's
saying Julian Strawther so they can't clip it.
Just coming from the heart. That's all.
It was like 8 of them in a row. I was like, wow, he's really.
Listen, man, I'm just reaching new heights.
Between that and Adam's hands that he does.
Adam
a lot of
smashes
people.
the couch. I'll show you couch.
I'm sorry to go there. Go.
No, listen, you were right to do it. You were right to do it. I hear what you're saying, and I'm going to improve. I think Julian Strawther is the most because he possesses much skill and has many flaws that he displays on the court. He needs to learn how to not foul people within the first minute of entering any game. He needs to learn how to gain any kind of consistency. He needs to learn how to just defend in general, team and individual. He's just so raw, but you can see the skill there. Like, so I had a couple guys. I just think that there's just so much room for improvement there.
I like this one. I mean, honestly, there's not that many answers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's not that many people you could go to here. If we talk about Julian Strawther's growth here, to me, if he did everything more or less the same, but just shot 40%, 41%, we'd be like, oh my God, is this guy pretty good?
Yeah, we're sort of still working with the idea of Julian Strawther, right? The idea of Julian Strawther as an impact shooter off the bench. And it has to become a realization, I think.
And there's no question that like he has to prove he can be a great shooter. But at the same time, it's not crazy for me to think he had a 40% year, a 39% year on volume next year.
No, because that's the level of shooter he should aspire to be.
And if he's not actually, he probably just not.
Then that's kind of, it kind of needs to work. But that's from a place of he can do it, of course. And yeah, go ahead, Eric.
Well, I was going to say also, if you look at any team in the NBA, everyone's like, what do we need? Well, we need shooting. We got to get shooting.
Yeah, so
every
true.
team needs, everyone needs shooting all the time. He has shooting. He can give you shooting. It's just there are so many other things that kept him off the court, but both mental and physical. Like he got injured. Like he just needs to. Hopefully, he really takes this offseason seriously. Comes back, gets in incredible shape. I mean, he's primed to make that kind of leap where he does have a little bit of that Peyton Watson thing we've talked about. He looks a little bit like he's uncomfortable in his body. Sometimes he doesn't have great body control because his limbs are so long. He needs to get stronger in the deepest parts of his body, like core strength and
in his soul.
In his soul, dude. He's got to learn to be a Denver Nugget for God's sakes. But no,
I also think it's really meaningful that he is going to be here all summer.
I do too.
Once again, 2 years in a row, spending the entire time around the coaching staff. Because what does David Adelman say? We don't just need guys working on their game. They need to be working on it in the way we need to use them. Like, you need to make yourself available to the role we have for you, which is tough to hear, honestly.
Yeah.
Because a team might want to roll for, hey, nobody's like, hey, man, we need you to be the best 8th man you can be. It's I see myself as a 5th man or 4th man.
Dude. Hey, we know that next contract sounds nice.
Yeah.
We actually don't want you to play for that.
I know.
Which, by the way, which is one thing that is tough about that plan and that direction, right? Is every player looking at this going, I could be remembered in NBA history if I do everything right next to Jokic, or are they thinking, what if I averaged 14 points a game?
And honestly, it can be the difference between $20-30 million.
Yep.
So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Do you agree it's Strawther?
Obviously, candidate.
There's only a few, I feel.
I think there's really 3 I think of, and I think the chat would probably throw them all out there. I'll say Peyton Watson as well, as a guy who I think is just either doesn't have much to offer at the next level or is still in the project stages. I actually lean towards the latter. I think Peyton can develop into something, but you're still waiting to see it. You're definitely hoping to see he can stay healthy and get the longest runway possible to take off by the playoffs. But this is like a guy who can make a breathtaking defensive play in a high leverage transition moment in the playoffs. And then also in the same way,
missed that dunk.
Also a breathtaking transition play, but in the way you don't want. So Can he shore it up? Can he become a more trustworthy player? Because they need what Peyton could, in theory, provide.
I'm going to go with Peyton Watson as well. But I honestly think it's... I don't know that this one will be close. I actually think that it could swing wildly. Here's what I'll tell you. I believe to be true. I don't think Peyton Watson's going to be working out in Denver this year very much. I think he'll probably make trips out here and do little check-ins. I think he'll be working out independently. I think he'll be working out very hard. But he didn't last year. He went to LA and had his own guy. I think that one of the failures of his last offseason was not adding more weight. I think that it became very clear that he needed to do that this offseason. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the easiest way for him to make it. So the easiest way actually for any player to make an improvement is physically. I think Peyton Watson will be a guy that we see a photo of in like mid-August. And it's like, oh man, look at that.
My man's swole.
And if he had no other talents but just was stronger, I actually think it would make a meaningful difference to Peyton Watson.
I do too.
So to me, in a weird way, he might have the easiest path. But I will tell you this. It's either going to be him or not close. And that's a little scary to me. And I think with a guy like Peyton, he is eligible for an extension this year. One thing I wonder about with him and just knowing or believing he might not be in Denver as much as, say, a Julian Strawther is, players don't... There's always the thing of like, we're talking about how can you develop into a role player versus a big contract or this or that. He was at the center of the Malone Booth schism. I would not be surprised if he had his own frustrations with it. Like, it sucks for him. It sucks for guys like Pickett and Zeke. I don't know if those guys are like, what does the org need from me? Like, I was in the middle of a civil war. Sure, man, I'll do this or that.
Right, especially when change was written on the walls in red letters, right? So I don't say this necessarily with judgment, but is Peyton Watson trying to be the Nuggets' seventh man?
Right, exactly.
Is really the big question about
because I think you can ask that if Julian Strawther hasn't been paid yet. He was, whatever. But Peyton Watson now will get a contract, and there's probably a level of like, I think I'm better than this, whether he's true or not. I think I'm better than this. You guys caught me in the middle of a civil war, and now you're telling me to develop into the seventh guy in a rotation? Like that doesn't. There's a trust there that I think can be difficult. The last guy I'll throw you, D-line. I don't think this player will improve skill set wise. But I just think that there's a chance they actually are a great player in a new coach's system, and that's Jalen Pickett. I don't know that his skill set can get a whole lot better. Like, he can't really get quicker. His shot's already pretty good. But I do think that he's a smart player. And if you talk about going into next year, it's more about execution. That's what David Adelman said. We're going to really focus on execution and reading the court. I think Pickett hears that and is like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
That's my skill.
I like Pickett a lot in the regular season. I think he's going to be great, honestly. Like, he does bring a level of calm and the ability to sort of eat up innings, just like make sure that everybody else doesn't get worn down. He can run the show. He can hit shots. He can make things happen. I told you I don't love him as a playoff player, but let's worry about that when we get there. The crazy thing is that the hardest thing, you look at Peyton Watson, look at Julian Strawther, all these guys, like we're now basically on year 3 of this is the 2 timelines. And it's now like, okay, how long are you willing to give these guys to improve to the level where they are worthy of sharing the court with Nikola Jokic? Or do you just take these guys that are improving and do you try to flip them for guys that like, could we get like a CJ McConnell? Not a CJ McCollum. Like I would trade Pickett for CJ McCollum for like a year or two of him.
Like, first of all, you're talking about a $30 billion contract.
I'm just saying, like, there's guys that are going to be bought out. I'm just saying, like, players like that are like at the tail end of their career. It makes me nervous that we're going to another development year for a lot of these guys, and it's like this Project Dynasty.
And you might not. Honestly, there is a chance. And also, even if Pickett's here, you might bring in another point guard anyway, and then
But I definitely agree with you. I mean, I
will
think
say number 1 2-man pairing on the Nuggets, Pickett Jokic.
I'm not surprised.
Only 300 minutes, 330.
Stan says P-Watt is a great soldier. You guys are talking nonsense. Alternatively, we might be telling you something.
I'm also defending him. Like, this is the thing where I'm saying I think the org yanked him around a little bit in a way that if I were him, I would have a hard time being like, oh, you want me to not work on handle, scoring, mid-range? You want me to instead just work on denying the ball?
I like P-Watt a lot.
Yeah, I mean...
I like P-Watt a lot, and I think that he... aside from the strength like you're talking about, I think there's a maturity thing that has to happen. There's like he's always best in my opinion when the play breaks down. He's like a good help side guy, good like chase down block guy, good like he can guard the number one a little bit. But I think he's got to think the game a little bit better, kind of the same path that Aaron Gordon had to take. Yeah. But I believe in his future in this league. I'm just, as a general question, I'm like, is it smart to still try to develop these guys to go in and be around here after Jokic is gone? Because like, what does it matter at that point?
All right, let's take another break. On the other side, we'll ask the other question: which Nugget might regress the most from this year to next one?
Well, a lot of people going different places this offseason, no matter where you're going. Go there in a Toyota. That's right. If you just got fired from a job in the NBA or traded, just pack up the Toyota.
Pack it up, dude.
I'm here now. This is not the read they wanted me to.
Oh my.
Toyota's the official vehicle of DNVR. If you want trucks, they've got trucks. Coloradans need trucks, actually. This is not suburban New Jersey. People just taking up 2.5 parking spots because they can.
Dude, I'm telling you, their 2026s are so insane.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're new cars.
Whether you're conquering off-road trails or hauling the way to the world, there's a Toyota truck that's just right for you. You probably heard about them.
They're bringing back the mini truck,
the Land Cruiser. They've got 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like that epic 4Runner, something else you've almost certainly heard about by now. They also offer more low and zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker to give you, the customer, numerous choices to reduce your carbon footprint. No matter what type of Coloradan you are, what type of car you're looking to drive, there's a Toyota that's right for you. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe in Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. Beep, beep.
Beep, beep.
Oh, yeah, there's another read, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a second one usually, typically.
You would think that at this point, I have it down by now. How about Empire today?
They've got it down.
The absolute goats of flooring. They've got it down at Empire. They know it's not. It's really, really overwhelming when you go to those giant, big box stores.
Oh my God,
you need to find an employee to bring stuff down for you. You're not really sure yet how it's going to look in your home with your furniture. And it's also really, really expensive. So with Empire today, it's just sort of about, remember in math problems and stuff, they would say, block out all the sentences you don't need, focus on the words you do.
Oh, I thought you were talking about 3 points is a bit worth more than 2 points.
Nope, good question. That's another math problem. It's like that, man. Just cut out all the noise and focus in on exactly what might be the floor for you. Empire helps you do that. They're the emperors of that, you could say, without any negative connotation whatsoever. Legally, I'm supposed to add that as well. Pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. See how it looks with your furniture in your house. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home. And of course, a separate group of professional installers are going to get that set up for you in that home. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at DNVR at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code DNVR. You heard that right. A $350 discount with promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See Empire Today/DNVR for full details.
All right, back here, segment 3. Throw us a like. We did the optimism. Now let's go to pessimism.
Oh, thank God.
Which Nuggets player is going to regress the hardest between this season and next one? Vote.
That's a fun question. I am worried it's going to be Michael Porter Jr.
Oh, man.
Physical limitations.
Like the luck might have ran out a little bit. He's been healthy for, 3 years straight?
Played through a hamstring strain. Hurts himself in the playoffs. Now, admittedly, sort of a freak thing. I'm not trying to manifest this by any amount, but I just think
nervous energy manifesting.
No one thinks that you thought that about Mike.
That I'm trying to manifest the yeah. I would actually like him to succeed. Thank you very much. But I just think you always have to be. I think you always have to be worried about. He's played a lot.
Yeah.
Is he going to play a lot again this year? I would love it, but I just think it's always something you have to be concerned about with Mike. And I think he, as a healthy player, is closer to the 44% from three than the 39 he just shot. But is he a healthy player? That's always a fair question to ask.
Here's the double-edged sword of this. One, when there's a new coach, new role, new system, maybe there's a new identity to the team that involves him a little bit more, or even just opens up shots for him or whatever. But then it's also new coach, maybe new rotation. Maybe
Absolutely.
like, hey, you're more of a 26-minute per game guy. Like, we don't need you to play like that. maybe he plays more with the bench, and it's like, hey, we're going to try something different here. So it could break a lot of ways from him, BJ. I don't think from a skill set standpoint he's going to be meaningfully worse. But the role could be better, could be worse. I don't know. Could be worse.
God, who's primed to take a step back? It's probably Russ. If
he's back, yeah.
If he opts in, it's probably Russ.
Almost no reason for him to opt in. Even if he stays with the Nuggets, he'd almost certainly opt out and resign. But either way, if he's back.
I mean, everyone else is so young. You know, like if anybody is taking a step back, it's a bad situation for the Denver Nuggets to be in. Golly. I mean, that's probably I don't even know how to answer that question, honestly.
Aaron Gordon's on fire
there
from 3 this year, but he wasn't necessarily physically healthy for very much.
I'd say he had a pretty down year just because he was.
But he made a bunch of threes.
But he made a bunch of shots.
And then was awesome in the playoffs.
But would you like chat? So chat's throwing Aaron Gordon out there too. So this question is to our friends in the Toyota chat as well. Would you take a dip in his shooting, in his perimeter efficiency for a return in his interior efficiency and impact defensively?
I probably would.
I would. So there's a chance,
especially when you get to the playoffs, it's like you're either going to make a few or not. It's like Adelman said, throw the percentages out.
And he didn't really have great numbers from the corner in the playoffs, which I mean, I'm not knocking him. I would take the trade off.
What about Jokic? And I don't think Jokic skill-wise or any of that. I think he'll get better because he somehow finds a way to get better. He talked about maybe he'll play in Eurobasket this year, which would be interesting. But I just wonder if he plays as many minutes. I wonder if Jokic approaches next season with a mentality, maybe not even consciously, maybe even subconsciously, of I'm not carrying this team this year.
Yeah.
You know, like I was beat up by the end of the year. I was beat up in January. I'm going to go out there and not try to be a triple-double average or MVP and count on the team to be able to handle that.
Yeah.
Jokic had a pretty monster year this year, man.
He did.
He did. I noticed that.
I don't think you guys saw.
Yeah, I did catch that.
I'm like, Jokic's like way of thinking, his psychology is so impossible to understand.
He does seem to have a sense of duty of just goes out and does.
He does it.
Great,
he doesn't ever seem, and perhaps it's just I'm grafting onto him whatever I want. Of course, that's what it is. But like, he doesn't seem to be bothered by it. He just does it. He just, and you know, when he's asked like, "Hey, you had to play a bunch of minutes. That was pretty tiring." He's like, "Was it?" I'm like, I was playing basketball. I don't know. It seems impossible for him to get better, and we've said that 7 years in a row. So It seems like just as far as numbers are concerned, you kind of actually hope that he takes a step back because it, like you're saying, it is not incumbent on him to do absolutely everything. That maybe his assist numbers go way up, his point numbers go down. Like
it might even be better for the team in some weird way. And again, look, we're gonna be 3-3, 6 games of the season. But like, just play Yoke 40 minutes. Dang it, just get us over the finish line. But it might not be the same way that Malone, we believe, was such a big personality that maybe there was no space for anyone else. Yoke's so good that maybe him stepping back opens up opportunity for other guys in a way that's hard to do in 5-minute intervals, but a little easier in 8-minute intervals. Sure. And maybe there's something there. Maybe it's something about Adelman. At some point, the arc kind of comes back down or plateaus at the very least or something. And Yoke, honestly, for the Nuggets' sake, I hope they're the 2 seed next year and he plays 400 minutes fewer.
Sure. I get to that finish line and then turn into that sort of world-beating version of yourself. Absolutely. Jokic, it's really hard to tell because you just never know how hurt he is or isn't. How bad was that elbow in the playoffs?
Totally.
Probably really bad, guys. He went out with the compression sleeve on one night, but he's not going to. It's fine, is what he says.
Totally.
Remember the wrist? That was just, it felt funny. So it's just hard to know exactly how beat up Jokic is or isn't. But I think you'll always see a little bit of fatigue, and it really manifests in those sort of resignation threes he'll take at the end of a series where no one else can bail him or can help him out. So obviously this point is salient.
What about this? Will the Nuggets be more dramatically different on offense or defense next season?
Defense.
Why?
Because I think the commitment level might be different one way or another.
Ooh, I like that.
And that could be because they like the scheme more. It could be because whatever happened at the end of last year just woke them up. It could be because the rotation looks a little different. They're playing other guys who maybe are just playing harder because they're not trying to think about how fresh they are in June. I just think we didn't see what this group was defensively till the playoffs. And by the way, not bad. but we didn't see that all year. So I would just think they also just let go of the defensive coordinator. So I think it's more likely to see a fundamental change on that side of the ball.
I don't think Jokic will ever play defense in the regular season. I just don't think it'll ever happen.
I think he would. I think he would if the offense was good enough. I just don't think the offense. If he was on a team where the offense didn't need his,
it's true. It's possible. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing it. I just think we'll probably see a lot of like different. We already saw a little bit of it. Some different offensive philosophies, some maybe things that try to incorporate more players other than just Jamal and Jokic, especially down the stretch when things get tight. Like, we've been crowing for years about making sure that Michael Porter Jr. gets more plays run for him. It's not unthinkable that there'd be a lot of changes like that, just like some different concepts in general, some like different motion things that happen. Like, I feel like David Adelman probably fancies himself more an offensive than a defensive coach.
Yeah, that's the case, I think.
So I think that he'll be pretty interested in like getting that side of the ball to be more molded in his vision. So for that reason, and I think Jokic is going to be fine. Like, he's always fine. He's going to get a bunch of steals, but I didn't see him put his hands up one time until the playoffs happened.
Here's the thing, though. When David Adelman has talked about what changes, he's really emphatically talked about the details. Mm-hmm. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but I think we got away from the details, which makes me think the Nuggets might just look the same but better offensively if you're being the optimistic look of this. And I don't know that it's necessarily going to change. It's still going to be the two-man game. Still going to be Jokic. Still going to be AG in the dunker and Michael Porter shooting threes. I don't know that it's going to change that much. I would love for it to be meaningfully and notably different next year because I do think the Nuggets could use it. But he hasn't indicated that. Defensively, I do think there's going to be different players.
Yeah.
I think that's where you'll see the core guys are probably still here, but I do think that the guys they bring in probably make a personality adjustment on the defensive end. So I'm going to go defense. Yeah. And what's weird is we don't even know who the defensive coordinator is yet.
We don't know who the general manager is.
Could be Tom Thibodeau. What if you went with Coach Tibbs for defense?
I cannot get enough of talking about what the Nuggets are going to do and just knowing that they don't have a guy that is able to do it. Like, especially the Trey Murphy rumors that comes out. Who are they leaking that from?
Yeah. Who could have been the Nuggets? The Nuggets side could have leaked that. the interim general manager.
So stupid.
How about this one? Which non-playoff team out west is most likely to rise to the conference finals contention next year? So I'm not, for the sake of this argument, not the play-in teams, Sacramento and Dallas, you can count them if you want. But what teams? So Sacramento, Dallas, Phoenix, Portland, San Antonio, New Orleans, or Utah. Of those teams, which one do you think will, I don't want to say contention, but just could be a team that wins a round or two?
I know the sexy answer that I disagree with.
Yeah, say it.
The Spurs.
Right.
Contingent
upon one major premise.
Every show's the same show
that Eric does not subscribe to.
Is it about Wemby?
No, it's not about Wemby. It's just they're not a complete team. We'll have to see what they do. There's a lot of like things that are up in the air. We don't know who they're going to add. We don't know. Should there be another big acquisition? Should they get a big man to put next to Wemby?
Where are they drafting again? Where did they get?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Third
overall.
Is that what it was? Hold on.
That sounds right. That's going to help.
Yeah, or it's second, actually. Well, hold on a second. How did I? Yeah, it's second. Yeah, they got the second pick.
I mean, it's of those teams, it's clearly the Spurs. But of all the teams, it's probably the highest riser for me is Dallas.
I was going to say I don't think it's clearly the Spurs
of that bottom tier, but Dallas,
Utah, Dallas.
Well, no, but you were saying like you can count of the.
Well, I mean, when you get to like New Orleans, Utah, Portland, those teams are probably going to suck. Sacramento's probably going to suck.
Dallas is absolutely
Portland has a chance to. Portland was a good bad team this year.
Yeah, but
can they become a not bad team?
Not a conference finals contender.
No, not a conference finals.
They're just on their slow trajectory. I think, to me, I go Dallas as well. Look, Dallas, they're going to have a razor thin at their guard spot. I mean, we'll see what they do. I don't think they're going to have like a lot of depth there.
They'll probably have Russell Westbrook.
But I think, maybe. But their defense, I think, might be insane next year. They might have
for sure
a crazy good defense that's just hard to go up against in the regular season.
And that does win championships. Yeah, so it would be their stable of bigs. They have PJ Washington as an asset still, really. So you have Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, and Lively. It's a lot.
So Gafford too.
Gafford off the bat. I mean,
They got a
that's
bunch of
Kyrie's probably going to miss the whole season, though.
I know.
Najee Marshall. I mean,
But
they
that's
say
what
he'll
they
be
have.
back at the end towards the end of the season.
They just have to have a guy. Like, their plan was to have Kyrie be the offensive engine with a bunch of interior presence and defensive strength on the other side. They just have to find a guy that can get them some points or at least play off of Anthony Davis.
And as we see this year, you can be a 6, 7, 8 seed and make the. It's just this is the new NBA. You can come up that way. It's almost just as easy.
It's true. That Najee Marshall floater is on the short list of aesthetically, you think no chance, but if you've watched him enough, you know it's going in every time, and it just a real gut punch every time when you're playing against them.
It's such a gut punch.
But they could be, and also if it's just all right, they don't have Kyrie, they don't have their primary creator, but they have a bunch of guys on the roster who are willing to play defense for 82 games. And just playing really hard can go a really long way in this league. So I think they're the obvious candidate. But with the Spurs are up there as well. We'll see.
All right, how about this one? The opposite. Which playoff team is most likely to implode next season?
Our chat's going to say the Nuggets, I think. Just kidding.
No way. There's so many other teams.
It's going to be the Grizzlies.
Yeah, the Grizzlies are cheating because they're the 8 seed. Like, they barely count anyway. But let's throw them to the side because I think you're probably right.
We're doing just West, correct?
Oh, yeah, just in the West.
It's probably going to be.
I'll give you options. Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, Rockets. That's kind of where you're going. Maybe Minnesota?
I was going to say Minnesota. They got to keep Tim first. Sounds like they will, but they got to do it first.
Boo.
But they've got contracts, man. Nikhil Alexander-Walker is up right now, I believe.
Right now.
And Naz Reid next year. Julius Randle, right? Believe.
Yeah,
We're running out of time on that.
I mean, I can't count Minnesota out. They've got Anthony Edwards. I mean, come on. To me, it's just the Grizzlies. Everybody else, Houston, there's a lot of teams that you just don't know what they're going to do. The Houston is like the most interesting one because they had success last year, but they also have so many pieces that they can play around with. You don't they should by all rights.
I think they want to trade too.
I think so too. They have a mix of young and old guys. They should probably, they should definitely move off some of their young guys. They have Reed Shepherd sitting in the wings, doing nothing.
Warriors is a great pick. Warriors, Lakers are good picks.
Warriors
are just going to be
Jimmy
thin.
Butler, though.
Yeah, but they're going to be just so thin. I mean,
there's also a chance that Steph and Jimmy might just be over the cliff at this point. They're in their late 30s.
I still think that they were a sneaky, very good team in this playoffs that just had injury luck. But because they might always
conversation. The older you get, that
is hard. And then you never know who they pull off. I think here's the one I wonder about is the Clippers, because they really weren't close this year, and it all came together for them. And there's something to the psychology of in theory, they had the perfect Kawhi year where he didn't play until January. He slowly worked. He could only play so much.
They stayed above
water. They got into the playoffs red hot. Everything was working good, and then they lose to the Nuggets. And if you follow that up next year, it's well, do we do anything different? It's that's your best shot, man, and you lost in the first round.
I think they're a sneaky candidate too.
I think they could implode next year, man.
The Nuggets made them look worse than they are. That is
sometimes that happens.
No, for sure. The Clippers are getting the treatment that the Nuggets got from the Thunder, where
but
you just ran into the wrong team at the wrong time.
I think the Nuggets have had the opposite effect. I think everybody is respects the Nuggets more now because of how close that series was.
But the organization, the same way the Nuggets kind of can't now, Eric, even though what you said is true, they have to think beyond that about getting better. So do the Clippers, right? So to Adam's point, yeah, they okay, and even your point, they actually looked pretty competitive in the playoffs, and they had this good Kawhi year, and they were great defensively without him, and they are out in the first round. At a certain point, it's just
demoralizing.
Maybe you just want butts in the seats of the wall, and Kawhi Leonard and James Harden will sell them. But
we need to get butts in the wall.
But James Harden, man, the James Harden Game 7 numbers or elimination number, butts in the wall. All in all, it's just another butt in the wall, Eric.
Yeah.
Here's another one that's less fun for us. Will the Thunder just own the 1 seed next year? Is that or do we just need to kind of concede that? Forget what happens in playoffs, everything else.
Yeah, 1 seed. I'll concede that.
Are they kind of a 65+ win team every year?
I'm not willing to concede it. Listen, all I do is watch teams at this, especially right now, where you're Who's going to be in the finals next year? And everyone's going to be like, well, it'll be Oklahoma City and Indiana. At the end of last year, it's like, well, Boston's going to go on a world. I mean, they had a good season.
They might not win. They might not make the finals. But
it was 68.
But they did have a great season. That's your question. And I guess the answer is probably yes.
It's regular season. Yeah. They might be a team
they're youthful. They've got the legs for it. They've got the stamina. They've got the... likely the trophy.
They could lose a bunch more games and still have it wrapped up,
For sure.
It's not even saying that they'll be just as good.
Just the Nuggets looks as untouchable as they look right now. And things change for the Nuggets pretty quickly.
It's just very true. But they're just deeper, I think, is the...
Well, I feel like they could, if Chet gets hurt again, he did get hurt, they won 60. Okay, I just counted my own point. Listen, yes, yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're just so deep.
I'm looking for any angle.
I think the other part, if you tried to throw something at them, is they are the young up-and-coming team, and there really is such a thing as disease of more. Maybe they're too young to get it, but if you do have success this year, there is just the natural thing that happens of like, hey, man, I've been sacrificing for this team a lot. It's kind of time for me to show everybody how it is, and
everything Shea's the MVP.
Yeah, but those corny MFers just keep doing their little group huddles and stuff, and oh my god, yeah,
so they got to be stopped. They got to be stopped.
I hate every dancing team. I wish the worst for them.
Listen, man, I'm still just glad the Celtics were stopped. 1 year ago, I was saying they got to be stopped about a completely different team, but now they have to be stopped.
Now they got a real problem.
Now they have to be stopped.
How about this one? Is the East even more up for grabs next year? That's the opposite of what you were saying, where everybody just pencils the Pacers.
If with great respect, and they might do it, if the Indiana Pacers win the title, yes, the Eastern Conference is up for grabs, right?
Even if they don't win it. Oh, you're saying if they just won the conference.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's the big thing. Cleveland, they're kind of like we were talking about the Clippers. Last year, forgivable with some injuries. This year, it's like maybe we're just a paper tiger. And then Boston has no Tatum and might have to purposely have a down year. And those were your juggernauts. Knicks just fired their coach. Who knows what's happening there? There's nobody that you look at and is like, pencil them in. They're going to have 65 wins. The number one seed in the East next year might be a 57-win team.
Or I'm just doing what I said everyone did last year, which is stop just patting the Pacers on the head and actually recognize it's them. It's their time.
It's going to be, maybe what's going to happen is the Knicks are going to end up with Giannis, and they'll get the 65 wins.
Yeah.
That's probably how this will play out.
Probably true. Milwaukee yard sale. Kyle Kuzma.
I mean, the Bucks owe it to Giannis. Honestly, they owe it to send it to him and to just don't get back anybody, man.
Yeah, dude.
Just don't get anybody. They owe it to Giannis.
Listen, I know he grew up on the streets of Greece.
Yes.
And now he's a millionaire. But did the Bucks do it right for him?
They got to do it right for him, man. I mean, they kind of tried. They do.
That's the thing is they actually did. Every time he said, I need a big trade,
we cannot stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. Dude, what everyone's screaming for the Nuggets to do, the Bucks did exactly that, and it was so bad. They just took diminishing returns. Good players.
You're doing it again, man.
For a second.
That first one was a little high.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little high.
Well, I had sort of a limp.
No, I saw there was a scale. There was a scale for sure.
Eric, you can talk, but the camera's going to be on the other guys for the rest of the show.
Man. It's for safety purposes.
Yeah. Listen, we live in cancel culture. And just know that I am gesticulating wildly over here in one specific way. But
you know who the Bucks remind me? Because they did go for it. They kind of remind me of the 98 Braves.
Oh, my God, man.
The Bucks.
They did go for it. The Drew Holiday,
but close didn't cut it.
The Drew Holiday trade is actually an all-time. We call them small markets. I guess Milwaukee's a small market.
The worst trade of all time.
No, but acquiring him.
Oh,
in the first, which was Giannis was, hey man, I don't know if I can stay here. And how many did they give? 4 first-round picks for Drew Holiday, which at the time
we were like, this is insane.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I know he's a good player, but that's a lot. And they won a title. It's just crazy. They went all in on keeping him there, and it worked. And then now they had to do it again. And this time they ended up with Kyle Kuzma, and it's yeah.
Dude, it is funny how teams on the ascent, you do wobble and some teams stabilize.
Yeah.
But if you don't, that wobble becomes such a ridiculous. Oh, next thing you know, you're like, Kuzma. Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr. Get over here.
Which, by the way, is
second-round picks for Jay Crowder. Take them all.
Damn it.
By the way, I'm over here how about Gary Trent Jr.?
I'll take that. Not bad. The guy's kind of nice.
No, you can go about it smarter. You can go about it in a panicked fashion.
Yeah.
I hope that the GM for the Denver Nuggets, whose identity I think is known by everybody, is a little bit more reserved in his approach or her approach. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no,
we don't know. We don't know.
We got a couple super chats here, just 2. Let's really string them out. Let's string them out, guys.
Hey, fellas, thanks for the
slower.
Oh, sorry, this is from
Drunk Philosophy, our guy,
who's been
Drunk
unmasked,
Philosophy.
faced,
Yeah.
face reveal.
He told us, no, I'm not drunk right now, but to be clear, I do have a drinking problem. I like that. I really like that clarification. Hey, fellas, thanks for the afternoon delight. Don't think that's what that means.
That sounds like.
Don't think that's what that means.
Sounds like
he gave the winky
yeah,
face.
the wink.
The
Wow,
winky
we
face.
really.
He gave the winky face. He acknowledged the
This is my latest. Yeah,
the double entendre.
No, you know what?
people
That is
off.
what we provide.
Yeah.
That is what we provide, guys.
We get people off.
I'll tell you what the difference between this show and other people is.
Almost Famous. You really break down all of the taboo in that movie, and you're like, oh wow, it is kind of
No,
funny.
it's really, dude. There's no universe that story could unfold in today's day.
No, there's no chance, man. But it's also great. Philip Seymour Hoffman is so good.
This guy is my favorite guy. This is the guy that literally should be known as D-line.
You're going to like this one. Then.
Brandon
Delisio.
This is D-line.
You know what? I'm just going to say it because everyone else is scared to. Peyton Watson is a cute boy.
Yeah,
one of our cutest.
Totally.
And that should mean something.
Listen, he came in here and he did a full photo shoot and he had a bunch of jewels on and diamonds, and his uncle was like, "Come on, Peyton, don't wear that." But we were like, "You just got to be a cute boy sometimes.
You got to be yourself, man.
Sometimes you got to let the shine."
Entirely fictionalized story.
No,
that's really true story that actually did happen.
RG, back it up.
I think the Nuggets would be so vibey with Peyton Watson like realizing him. So this is what's funny about fanhood is I think people love to be right, and so things have not looked very promising. It's been up and down, I would say, with P-Watt. Him being good next year and actually having a breakout year would be incredible.
Everything for the
Denver Nuggets. Again, I want players to get paid, but it would be wild if the Nuggets got a discount on him right and then he broke out. Yeah. That never happens that way. It almost goes the opposite. But it'd be pretty sick if it was like, hadn't really earned a big one. Oh my God, this guy's incredible.
And then everyone's going on, he's on this deal?
Oh. As a Nuggets fan, that's what you should hope for.
Yes, for your internal players to get good enough that they, of course.
I do actually want all the Nuggets to be good very badly.
I do. That's
very,
something
very
about
badly.
me.
One thing about me. Jacob McQueen. MPJ post-ups next season. Some mellow-ass triple threat jabs into the mid-range. One or less dribbles. He has the height advantage, seems fully capable.
Man, I would put this along with Jalen Pickett post-ups.
What he would do is he would do a dribble and then he would do a sidestep.
Christian Brown ISOs. What other things should we?
Just
Aaron Gordon pin downs, get him running off a couple screens.
Like, hey guys, I know we have a 165 offensive rating, but let's get Porter going from the mid range. I will say Porter as a mid range shooter fell off a bit this year, and I would like to see that come back. But I don't know if it looks like that. I think it's more like attacking overzealous closeouts, one dribble pull up.
Just having stuff ran for him.
Maybe that happens.
A little pickety poppity.
Maybe his point guard just decides he's open on the wing.
Pickety poppity boo.
Yeah.
Passes it to him.
Eric, are you missing basketball?
No, I'm really not. Like I'm pretty annoyed by the concept of the Nuggets and basketball right now. I'm not hoping for. I don't like either team that's left. I don't want success for either of them. They're both good people. They're like, I understand people. They have good guys. This, that, or the other. But like, I don't care, man. Like, I want to get to the part where the Denver Nuggets hire a GM.
I think that's coming.
We're like, I know, but right now everything is so nebulous and lame for us. We can't even speak we can speak in zero absolutes. It's just like how right now we're in a Rorschach test of like how you personally view the season.
So true.
Through the lens of one player or another. And it's frustrating to me that people are not really giving the Nuggets credit for what they accomplished, more so criticizing them for what they didn't. And I appreciate the fact that in some ways that's a loser mentality, but I also appreciate like the larger story at play and where the Denver Nuggets are. And I just can't not appreciate what the Denver Nuggets are. It's been so miserable for so long to be a Denver Nuggets fan. It's like if you look at the Colorado Rockies right now, that is who the Denver Nuggets were when I grew up. They were that embarrassing. Like and especially when they were dressed like in the rainbow. I try to make this point all the time. Like the rainbow jerseys, everybody loves them. But like if the Rockies were wearing rainbow jerseys right now, you'd be like, oh look, the clowns are coming.
Right.
Look, here come the clowns. Come on out. Like,
have I told you guys this when I played youth soccer growing up? You know, you have a different jersey color every year. And one year we got these red and white jerseys, but we were called the Rainbow Falcons.
Yeah, tough.
And the special feature was the armpit wings that were just rainbow.
Wait, what?
It was tough, brother. Anyway, shout out to the Rainbow Falcons.
I've never even seen another shirt like
Cue
that.
it, Kale. Go ahead.
This feels like a lucid dream that you were part of.
Like the Nuggets, we also lost in the second round that year.
Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us on this fine Tuesday. Be safe. See you tomorrow.
No, it's not.
We all silly like the mayor.